Hey there! Today we have some botanics courses. We have cactafolk, deayhfung and mossfolk races to inspect. Links to the material are in description. Unfortunately, to proceed to the materials, you need to copy the link and paste it in your search bar because of the brackets at its end. So let's start off our quests with cactafolk. It's not hard to catch from their name that they are cactuses. They are not so squishy as real cactuses actually. Their body fibers are hardened so they can function like muscles. Full-grown entity has 4 arms and spines all over their body. They don't have a neck, just head on top of their body. Their eyes are 2 dark holes with glowing irises. No nose. They walk with their roots like with legs. Cactafolks usually live as tribes, but there are some exceptions when some entities may live alone in the desert. So let's have a look at their traits. Cactafolk creature type is plant. Cactafolk reach maturity around 30 and live up to 200 years. Their size is medium. Despite roots for legs, their walking speed is 30 feet. Cactafolk constitution score is increased by 2. These guys know common language. Being a desert dwellers, they are unaffected by extreme heat and only need to fulfill water requirements once per 10 days to avoid exhaustion. If another creature hits the plant with natural weapon or unarmed strike, they take 1 piercing damage. Also, when cactafolk is grappled or grapples another creature itself, they deal 1d4 piercing damage. At the beginning of their turn, grappled by cactafolk or grappling the cactafolk creature takes another 1d4 points of piercing damage. When cactafolk takes fire damage, it becomes frightened till the end of the next turn. With second pair of arms, cactafolk can do everything they do with primary, but cannot wield a shield or a second double-handed weapon while wielding such a weapon with primary arms. There are 2 major tribes of cactafolk and they are considered as sub-races. Apunti tribe members have wisdom score increased by 1. They have limited ability of communication with beasts and plants. They can understand Apunti, but Apunti can't understand them in return. Apuntis also have advantage on charisma checks to make influence on them. Apunti know 1 cantrip from druid spell list. At 3rd level, they learn 1 1st level spell from the same spell list. They can cast it once a day, and wisdom is spellcasting ability for it. Akin guys have strength score increased by 1. Their spined fists are considered as natural weapon. Such unarmed strike deal 1d4 plus strength modifier piercing damage. Akins have advantage rolls against charming, frightening and stun. Deayhfungs are the race of sentient plants that grow from dead bodies. They look like a tall, thin humanoids with mushroom-like caps. Their body often has humanoid or some other creature's remains that function as deayhfungs skeletons. On the white head-like cap, they have kinda crystalline eyes. Therefore, they grow from infected by some spores bodies. They are considered as wild creatures that don't deserve to live alongside others. So it's common practice that they are driven away, forced to live in the Underdark alongside Myconids. Deayhfung's creature type is plant. They mature around 50 and live up to 90. Their size is medium. Deayhfung's walking speed is 30 feet. These plants have 60 feet of dark vision. Deayhfung's wisdom score is increased by 2 and constitution score by 1. These creatures know common and undercommon. They have disadvantage on saves against fire damage. Deayhfungs don't sleep in normal sense, but they stay in some low consciousness state, tying itself with roots to their surroundings. In this state, they have advantage rolls against being moved. These folks have ability to communicate with other plants with spores. The plants can understand the deayhfung, but the deayhfung can't understand them in return. Deayhfungs also have an advantage on charisma rolls to influence these plants. Their special body is able to digest rotten matter without trouble for nutrition. During the short rest, they can absorb and break down the flesh from a medium-sized corpse. This fulfills their daily food and drink requirements. When deayhfung grapples anyone, the grappled creature becomes vulnerable to deayhfung's spores. They must make a constitution save with difficulty 8 plus constitution modifier plus proficiency bonus. On a fail, they become paralyzed until their next turn. Deep in the forests of material plane, mossfolks have found their place to be. They are mossy humanoids whose whole body is made of moss and dirt. They have jade gems covered by moss instead of eyes. Generally, mossfolk are the size of human children and often are seen to look as such. They don't bother themselves to interact with rare travelers. There are some instances when mossfolk will suddenly react to travelers and scream like a banshee. It is considered to be a warning that a danger is near. Mossfolk are considered both humanoids and plants. They typically live about 300, some live up even to 600. Their size is small. Mossfolks have 25 feet walking speed and 30 feet climbing speed. These plants have 60 feet of dark vision. Their wisdom score is increased by 2 and dexterity score by 1. Mossfolks know Common, Elvish, and Sylvan. They have advantage on stealth rolls when they try to hide in the forest or jungle. These folks can go without food or water without incurring exhaustion twice longer than humans. Mossfolks are also proficient in nature skill. So that's all, folks. See you next week.